Hello everyone. Yes, my dear students, in the last session we completed the class chondrichthyes, osteichthyes and also class cyclostomata. We have completed the descriptive characteristic features of all three classes with examples. So, in this session we are going to learn the next four classes comes under the superclass Tetrapoda. The Tetrapoda belongs to the division Gnathostomata. The Gnathostomata means having jaws. So, in these classes, the organisms they are having jaws and also they are having limbs. So we'll study the next class comes under superclass Tetrapoda. The first class in the superclass Tetrapoda is amphibia. The amphibia it include all these examples. The first one is bufo. In common, it is used to call toad. Next is rana. Rana, scientific name, Rana tigrina, given to the frog. The scientific name of the frog is Rana tigrina. Tigrina I have not written on the board. The next is Hyla. The common name for the Hyla is tree frog. Next is Salamandra. The common name is salamander. The next example is Ichthyophis, which is a limbless amphibia. The class amphibia, which means amphi means dio, bia means alive, having, leading a life on both the surfaces. What surfaces it is leading the life? Both the surfaces, in sense it is leading its life in water media and also in the terrestrial form and also on the soil surface. So that's why they have given the name as amphibia. We'll see the characteristic features of amphibia. Already I have written here the characteristic features so that it will become easier to copy all these. So the first characteristic feature indicates the habitat of class amphibia. As I told you, it lives in water and also it is available on terrestrial regions. So the habitat of the amphibia is aquatic and also terrestrial. Terrestrial means on the soil surface. Next characteristic feature is it has two pairs of limbs. We have already written here in the example. One example is there which doesn't possess the limbs. That's why we have given the name limbless amphibia. Except to that, all the animals, all the organisms bear two pairs of limbs. So the next is body is divisible into head and trunk. So head, if you see the frog, it has a part, it has two divisions. One is head and one more is trunk region. So next characteristic feature is skin is moist. In the previous classes, we studied on the skin. It include or it consists of placoid scales and ctenoid or cycloid scales. Those kind of scales are absent in this class amphibia. So skin is moist and eyes have eyelids. Eyes means the eyes of all these organisms covered by the eyelids, which is a protective layer. So tympanum represents the ear. It doesn't have a special ear pinna and all. It have a tympanum kind of organ which act as ear, which is going to absorb the sound waves. So here I have written cloaca and I have written in front of that, alimentary canal, urinary bladder and reproductive tract. Now what does it mean? So it is simple. Alimentary canal is nothing but digestive tract. Urinary bladder, it is nothing but the urine, passage of urine. So if the urine want to pass from the body and it want to exit from the body, it should have one aperture. So it is the description, the character is like that. Okay, the alimentary canal means the aperture which is going to open to the alimentary canal, and the aperture which is going to open to the urinary bladder, and also the aperture means a hole which is going to open to the reproductive tract. All these apertures are same. The name of that aperture is cloaca. Through this cloaca, it is going to excrete the waste material, it is going to excrete the urine, and also it is going to excrete the sperms. Now, next character is the heart of these organisms are three-chambered. Here I have written 2A and 1V, which means 2 auricles, 1 ventricle. Suppose it is a heart of the organism, suppose it is a heart of frog, it consists of 2 auricle, 1 ventricle. So it will be like this: auricle and ventricle. But in the previous class chondrichthyes and class osteichthyes, it included only 2 chamber. One is 1 auricle, second one is 1 ventricle. Now the next characteristic feature is these organisms are cold-blooded animals. It means they are poikilotherms. They are not going to compensate to the ambient temperature. The next characteristic feature is sexes are separate. They are not hermaphrodite. Both the male and female gametes are going to release from different sexes. Male organism will be there and also female organisms will be there. Mating takes place. After the mating, fertilization takes place. Fertilization is external. External in sense, the fusion of male and female gamete is going to take place outside the body. After the mating, the female frog releases egg. Onto that, the male frog releases the sperm. There, in the suitable portion, in the suitable area, the fusion takes place and development is indirect. Development is indirect in sense, it is after the fusion formation, the zygote forms, or the zygote comes to the larval condition, and then after the formation of larva, it reaches to, or it forms a new adult organism. In some larvae, tail will be present. In some animals larvae, tail will be present. Tail. Okay, note that also. So development is indirect, means it is going under metamorphosis. First it will form, or it will come to the larval position, and then it will synthesizes to new adult one. So the examples are as follows. Alright, so amphibia in sense living in both the lives. Now let me tell you why it need both the conditions, why it need both the soil surface and water surface. Just now I said in the fertilization character, it releases the egg and sperm. I use that word, no. So for the releasing of egg and sperms, it need water. Water is the only media in which it is it can easily release the gametes, and there itself it can there itself the fusion formation takes place, fusion of male and female gamete. After the zygote formation, after the fusion, whatever the zygote forms, those zygote living in the water media itself, it comes to the larval form, and then after the larval formation it forms, or it comes to the new adult one. So next class is class Reptilia. Now we'll see the characteristic features of class Reptilia. So now the second class comes under Tetrapoda, superclass Tetrapoda. The second class is Reptilia or reptiles. It includes the following descriptive features. The first descriptive feature is almost all maximum of the organisms are terrestrial one. They are going to live on the soil surface, and they show creeping and crawling type of locomotion. If you see the examples, you can imagine the examples are turtle, tortoise, lizard, crocodile, cobra, crate, viper, all these comes under the class Reptilia. And so if you imagine the snake or the turtle, how they walk, how they locomote, they either creep or crawl. So that is the mode of locomotion. Third one is skin is dry and cornified, having scales or scutes on the surface of the body. So their skin is dry, and on the dry skin it is covered by, or it is having scales or scutes. The scales and scutes are as follows. So the next is the tympanum. The external ear opening is absent in the class Reptilia. The tympanum itself represents the ear, as like in the class Amphibia we saw the tympanum which is acting as an ear. Here also tympanum represents the ear. Limbs, in some organisms limbs are absent, as like these kind of organisms limbs are absent, but if it is present, those are of two pairs of limbs are present. Limbs if present, it is of two pairs. Heart is three chambered, two auricle and one ventricle, but except one, which is that in crocodiles it is of four chambered. Four chambered heart is present in crocodile. This is the only one animal who is going to accept who is having some, one more extra chamber in its heart, which is known as the exceptions in class Reptilia. Almost all organisms have three chambered, but crocodiles have four chambered. These are cold-blooded animals. It means they are poikilotherms. They are not going to compensate to the external environment. Snakes and lizard. You might have seen snakes. They used to shed their scales. So that is also one characteristic feature of class Reptilia. The sexes are separate. They are not hermaphrodite. Male and female organisms are differ. They used to mate, and after mating the fertilization will be internal. It's not like class Amphibia external fertilization. The fertilization is going to take place inside the body, and they are going to lay eggs. After fertilization, the zygote or the embryo, whatever it is, it will be present inside the egg. Those eggs will be come out from the body known as laying eggs is known as oviparous. Coming to the examples of class Reptilia, Chelone is the scientific name for turtle. Testudo is the scientific name for tortoise. Chameleon is the scientific name for tree lizard. Calotus, scientific name for garden lizard. Crocodilus, scientific name for crocodile. Alligator, scientific name commonly known as alligator itself. And Hemidactylus, common name is wall lizard. And coming to the snakes, the poisonous snakes also included in the class Reptilia. Those are Naja, commonly known as cobra. Krait, common name, the scientific name for the krait is Bungarus. The Vipera, scientific name is Vipera, commonly known as viper. So these are all the characteristic features of class Reptilia. Now we'll move on to the next class. After the class Reptilia, here we go to the next class, the class Aves. The Aves, the organisms comes under the class Aves. Almost all the organisms, they possess feathers on the body, and except flightless bird, that is ostrich, almost all they can fly in the air. So that is the main and special feature of class Aves. They have feathers on the body. They possess beak. It's not like on the organisms, snake or alligator or turtle. They all have the mouth. Inside the mouth, some of the teeth are present. But here in the class Ave, it possesses beak so that it can pick its food. The forelimbs are modified into wings. Unlike the other like reptilia, class reptilia and amphibia, if the limbs are present, the limbs are two pair. The four limbs out of the two pair limbs, the animal uses its limbs for the creeping or walking or crawling or what is that running purpose. But here the class Ave, the forelimbs are modified into wings so that it can fly in the air. The hind limbs have scales. Those hind limbs, maximum of the birds, like all the birds, they use its hind limb for walking purpose or swimming purpose or clasping purpose. So by clasping means clasping on the tree, so that clasping means which can hold the branches of the tree, and so that it can sit on the branches of tree. So skin is dry. It has oil glands at the base of the tail. So you have to write this character in the class F. It possesses oil glands at the tail, at the base of the tail, and oil glands look like that. The pneumatic bone, they have the endoskeleton is bony, and the long bone, very much the largest bone is pneumatic. Pneumatic means filled by air, so that it will be light in weight. Having lightweight bone, it can easily fly in the air. So that's why it has manufactured its body to that extent so that it can fly easily. Heart is four chambered. and they are homeothermals. They are warm blooded animals. Warm blooded means they cannot the body temperature, they can compensate to the outer environment, to the ambience, to the outer temperature they can manage their body temperature regarding to the external environment. Now, lungs, they have lungs. It is meant for respiration. Sexes are separate. Here, the animals, male and female animals are present. And now, fertilization is internal. After the mating, the fertilization, male and female gametes going to fertilize inside the body, and the development is direct. They are viviparous, my dear students. Viviparous animals. They are going to lay eggs, and that egg will be covered by a calcareous shell. Now we'll see the examples of class A. The first example is corvus. The common name of corvus is crow. Pavo. Common name of the pavo is peacock. Psittacula. The common name for the psittacula is parrot. And struthio. The common name for the struthio is ostrich. And aptenodytes. The common name for the aptenodytes is penguin. And neophron. Common name is vulture. One more is there. Colombo. Common name is pigeon. So, the characteristic features and examples are as follows. Here, if they ask you to write the flightless bird, you have to write the ostrich bird because it cannot fly. All the birds have beak and forelimbs are modified into wings. They have scales on the hind limbs. So write that also. Hind limbs, on the hind limbs it possesses scales and skin is very much dry. Oil glands are present. To compensate that dryness, it has the oil glands. So next we'll see the next class, class Mammalia. After the class A, we have the last class known as class Mammalia. The first characteristic feature I mentioned in the class Mammalia is about the habitat. If you see the habitat, it has various kinds of habitat. Number of examples are there. All these are examples. These different kind of animals used to live in different habitats. Some of them used to live in polar ice, in deserts. Some of them are live in mountains, forest, grassland, and caves and kennels. Number of habitats are there. In different habitats, the organisms used to live, and they also adapted themselves to fly and also to live in water. The what is that? Bat. Bat is the organism. It used to live. It used to fly, and it has modified its four limbs as what wing, so that it can fly. And some of them are used to live in water. For example, Delphinus, common name is dolphin, and Balanoptera, common name is blue whale. These two lives in water. The most very important and unique feature of class Mammalia is having mammary gland. From the mammary gland, it secretes the milk. By sucking the milk, the young one, by drinking that milk, the young one get nourished. It has two pairs of limbs. Different kind of, as I told, varieties of animals are there. These varieties of animals use their limbs for various purpose, like Some of them used for the walking purpose, climbing purpose, burrowing, like for example platypus, it uses its wing for burrowing the soil, and some of them for swimming and flying. Skin, the outermost skin, epidermal layer covered by hair, and it has external ear which is known as pinna, but in the previous classes those organisms doesn't possess the external pinna. It is only represented as tympanum, but here external pinna is present, external ear is present. In the jaws, teeth are present. So this is the jaw line. In the jaw, teeth are present. As usual, heart is four-chambered and they are homeothermous. They can compensate their body to any of the temperature. They have lungs for the respiration. The sexes are separate, so that when the fertilization takes place, the fertilization takes place inside the body. Inside the female one, the fertilization takes place, and they are except few. Except few means Ornithorhynchus is the only one example. A common name is Platypus. It is going to lay eggs which comes under the class Mammalia. Except few, maximum of them are viviparous. Viviparous means they are going to lay eggs. So in this session we studied, so let me tell you the examples. So these are the examples of class Mammalia. I have given number 1 to oviparous, number 2 to viviparous. In oviparous we see only one example here, that is Ornithorhynchus, that is Platypus. In viviparous I have given number 1 to Ornithorhynchus because this is also one example, comes under class Mammalia, that's why. And 2 for Macropus. Macropus is the example, scientific name for kangaroo. And Pteropus, common name is flying fox. Camelus, common name is camel. Macaca, common name is monkey. Rattus, common name is rat. Canis, common name is dog. Felis, common name is cat. Delphinus, common name is dolphin. Balanoptera, common name is blue whale. So I think you understood all these phylums and classes. If you have any doubts, please ask me. After this class, after this session, I am going to give the assignment work. The assignment will be based on this chapter, in chapter number 3. According to the new after the cutoff syllabus, this will be the 3rd chapter, but according to NCERT syllabus, this is the chapter number 4. So you just conclude that this is the 3rd chapter. So the 3rd chapter assignments you have to submit, and those who didn't submit it, the chapter number 2 assignment, you have to submit that too. Okay, so if you have any doubts, ask me. Thank you.